Hey, what is up guys, Smurfy back for another video, and obviously by the title we're going to be playing Red Green Energy. This is a list piloted by, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but that guy at GP Santiago and came 8th place, which is great. So they're top 8 with Red Green Energy. I've been struggling playing the deck beating Marvel, just because I just can't find a way to consistently beat it. I'm going to GP Amsterdam in June, and I just need to find a way to consistently beat Marvel without having an awful matchup against everybody else. And judging by the fact that they top 8'd, I'm going to assume that they have a good matchup with their board and their main deck and how they've configured it. So I'm going to run through their list, and then I'm just going to try and work out what they've done to be able to top 8, and try and implement whatever they've done to tackle Marvel into my decks as well. And if I can't, then I guess I might just play their list. But anyway, let's get into the deck tech. So we're running 22 land, which is quite high. We're also playing none of the red-green cycle land either, which is surprising to me. We're playing, not only are we playing 22 land, but we're also playing 4 Attuning of Aether. We're then playing a removal suite of 3 Magma Spray and 4 Harness Lightning. Magma Spray is really good at the minute just because it gets rid of all the recursion of the zombies and everything. Everyone knows why this is in everyone's list now at this point. And then 3 Greenbelt, which was interesting. I assume it's because they're not as powerful in multiples, so he's just decided to cut one. And then we're playing 2 Blossoming Defense. Blossoming Defense is just great at trying to get underneath people's removal. 4 Longtusk Carp and 4 Voltaic Brawler. Interestingly, no Heart of Kiran. I think that might be because a lot of people are playing Artifact Hate at the minute because of Marvel, and I believe that Mardu Vehicles is kind of picking up a little bit again. So I think that's the reason. I think it's just that people are playing a lot of Artifact removal, so we're just not going to play Heart of Kiran. I assume that's the reason. That could just be completely wrong, but I haven't spoken to the person who top 8 with the deck, so I can only go by what I can see, and that's my understanding of why they haven't played Heart of Kiran, because it's such a powerful card. There has to be a pretty good reason not to play it. We're then playing 2 Ronas and 2 Tireless Tracker. There's like a lot of 3-drops at the minute, but none of them are nearly as good as Ronas, obviously. Tireless Tracker is good, but so is Lithunu Hellion, but again, Lithunu Hellion. But I just found that I can never find a 3-drop that is as good as Ronas, but they've decided to play 2 Tireless Tracker, which is fair. That's probably why they're playing so many lands as well. So then you don't get land screwed, and if you do flood, then you have Tireless Tracker to try and help mitigate that. We're also playing 2 Chandra and 4 Bristling Hydras. Again, I don't think these need any explanation. And 4 Glory Bringers. Again, I think at this point it's pretty obvious why people are playing these cards. And then the sideboard is what I find interesting. So we've got 1 Magma Spray to go with the other 3 for all the recursion decks. And maybe even just like Red, White, Weenie and things like that. That deck is fairly popular. 3 Hellions, which I find very strange. I'm not sure what this is for. I assume this is when you need to, obviously it's when you need to speed up the deck, so if you're against faster decks. It's very strange that there's 3. I would expect you just take out trackers for these, but there's 3 and not 2, or there's not like, I'm not sure what exact split they were doing, like when you sideboard, when you bring in the Hellions, do you take out both Tireless Trackers and then like something higher in the curve? I'm not sure. And then we're playing 2 Nissa. Nissa is just incredible against any matchup where you need to get card advantage. Especially against like Mardu Vehicles when they go into the slower grindy decks. 2 more Trackers again if you want to go into the grindier deck. 1 Appetite of the Unnatural. I think this is Destroy Marvel, but normally by then they've already activated it, which is really bad for us. But it also does just blow up vehicles. It blows up things like Skyship Sovereign, which again is pretty bad to play against if you're playing like a grindy deck. 2 Heroic Intervention. I think this is for Ulamog. So your opponent spins Marvel, they get Ulamog, they exile 2 permanents, you just in response Heroic Intervention, and you just pretend that it didn't happen. Obviously it doesn't answer Ulamog, but it basically just like mitigates the double Vindicate of the cast trigger, and then I think you're supposed to just like somehow go over the top of the Ulamog, where like hopefully by then you have a bunch of threats in play and you can just try and beat through the Ulamog, because they have to use it as a blocker instead of an attacker or whatever. I think that's why they're there. It's also just very good against all the board wipes, things like Fumigate and things like that. And it also is just sometimes a protection spell for 1 creature if they try and kill something. 2 Release the Gremlins. Again, I'm not sure why there's so much Artifact hate over more proactive approaches, so things like Transgress and Negate. but it seemed to work for them. So 2 Releasing Gremlins and 2 Sweltering Suns, probably for the zombie matchup, and again for red-white. So as I said, I don't know their exact sideboard plan, which is generally why I don't like copying people's sideboard, but I'm really struggling trying to work out a way to get an edge over the meta, so I'm just going to play what other people are playing, if it's working for them, and try and work out what they've done. So yeah, let's get into some matches. Peace.